Hello everyone. So this is the chapter 1 Pigeons at Daybreak by Anita Desai for BA first year English, and it is being presented by me, Sahil Sabarwal, Assistant Professor of English, Government College, Badota, Gohana. So today we'll start from where we left yesterday. So in the last class we saw that Otima asks her husband that whether he's ready to listen to the news or not. And in the reply of that, he says, now. And then he says, I'm ready. So that shows that he is he has lost the interest that he was having earlier because Otima took so much time in getting ready with the paper and spectacles. But Otima Basu never heard such sounds, such ironies and distresses. But Otima is not a kind of person who gives too much attention, too much uh, thinks about these kind of things that her husband is doing. And distresses, we can say that the whole activity that she was searching for the newspaper and then spectacles throughout the house, and that might have made her a little uh, weary. So that is the distress, we can say. Quite pleased with all she had accomplished, and at having half an hour in which to sit down comfortably. Quite pleased with all she had accomplished. What she has accomplished? She now has with her the newspaper and the spectacles. So that's we also saw in our last class that she was coming with that newspaper and with her spectacles triumphantly, like she has won something. So that is what she has accomplished, and at having half an hour in which to sit down comfortably, and now she has half an hour, 30 minutes after that toil to sit down comfortably. Now she has the time to relax. She settled herself on top of a cane stool like a large soft cushion of white cotton. And she settled herself means she sits on a cane stool. Cane stool, you can Google and then you can see it there. What it is, how does it look? And when she is sitting on this stool, she is looking like a large soft cushion. She's like a cushion. Cushion is a soft pillow. That means she's a healthy person that the author is trying to convey. Oiled hair and gold bangles. Oiled hair means that she's having oil in her hair. Her hair is oiled, and gold bangles she is wearing, humming a little air from the last Hindi film she had seen. And she is humming maybe a song from the last Hindi film she saw, and she opened out the newspaper on her soft, doughy lap and began to hum out the headlines. So now as she's sitting on the cane stool, and now she is opening the newspaper on her soft, doughy lap. Doughy again means something which is also soft. So her lap is soft and began to hum out the headlines, and she is starting with uh, the headlines. Not hum means not speaking but uh, saying things without opening the mouth. That is gungunana. That air, the sound passes through the nose. In spite of himself, Amol Basu leaned forward, strained his eyes to catch an interesting headline for he simply couldn't believe this was all the papers had to offer. In spite of himself, although Amul Basu is not in a condition that he can read himself, his eyesight is so weak, but even then he is trying to look into the newspaper, trying to find something, some headline which is interesting to him. And he's not able to, he's not believing that this is all the newspaper is having. So next is Otima reads a headline that rice smugglers caught. She read out. She read that rice smugglers caught. चावल तस्करी करने वाले पकड़े गए. But immediately ran along a train of thought of her own. Train of thought of her own. Train of thought means a series of thoughts. When she read, when she reads that rice smugglers caught, uh, a lot of thoughts come to her mind, and she flows with those thoughts. She thinks about them, and not only just she thinks about them but also speaks them out. She says, what can they expect? और क्या उम्मीद की जा सकती है? Everyone knows there is enough rice in the land. It's the hoarders and black marketeers who keep it from us. And she says that the rice is enough. We have enough rice, but these hoarders and black marketeers are what who are making this the lack of the. These will hoarders means people who holds the stock, who holds the goods, and because of that the shortage comes to the market. And black market is like marketing which is illegal, who keep it from us, and they keep it from the common people. Naturally people will break the law and take to smuggling. What else? Mr. Basu snapped at her. So while she's saying these things, or while she's saying this, Mr. Basu is not liking it at all, and he is only interested in news. So he says, "What else? What else? और क्या खबर है?" And he snapped at her. Snapped means that he releases his this pressure of this irritation. He releases that at Otima, and he asks, nothing else in the papers? Uh, hmm, she muttered as her eyes roved up and down the columns. And Otima muttered, hmm, and she's looking at the columns in the newspaper, and her eyes roved up and down when her eyes are moving upward and downward throughout the newspaper, looking very round and glassy behind the steel rimmed spectacles. And behind those spectacles she is wearing, and it is steel. The frame of these spectacles is made up of rim of these spectacles, we can say, is made up of steel. And behind that, behind those spectacles, her eyes are looking very round and glassy. Round, gold and glassy is shiny. Blue bull menace in Delhi airport can be solved by narcotic drug. So this is the next headline she is reading. Blue bull menace. Menace is danger or uh, uh, threat of threat of something. So blue bull का जो threat है, that can be solved by narcotic drug. Narcotic drug is a kind of drug which affects the mind and make it more calm, or we can or we can say that it make the person unconscious. And when she has read this, Blue Bulls snorted Mr. Basu. So Mr. Basu is he again didn't like this headline also, and he questions Blue Bulls. Snorted. Snorted means he's making nasal sounds. He's when he's saying Blue Bulls, he is making it nasal. नाक से बोल रहा है, and almost tipping out of his chair, and he is about to come out of his chair, or we can say he is about to fall out from his chair. He's that angry. How do you mean, Blue Bulls? Now he again asks, how do you mean, क्या मतलब तुम्हारा? Blue Bulls, नीले, we can say sand, नीले बैल. What is a blue bull? You can't be reading right. So he says, you can't be reading right. Read properly. And I am reading right, she protested. Otima says, I am reading right. मैं सही पढ़ रही हूँ. Think I can't read? Did my BA help two children through school and college, and you think I can't read? Blue bulls, it says here, blue bulls it is. So Otima is kind of making her defense, and she is saying that think I can't read, तुम्हें लगता है मैं नहीं पढ़ सकती. Did my BA, मैंने अपना BA किया. Helped two children through school and college, बच्चों की पढ़ाई में मदद की, स्कूल में भी और कॉलेज में भी. And you think I can't read, और तुम्हें लगता है कि मैं नहीं पढ़ सकती, तुम सोचते हो मैं नहीं पढ़ सकती. Blue bulls it says here, blue bulls it is. ये blue bulls ही यहाँ लिखा हुआ है. So next is can't be, he grumbled. So Amul is not believing what she is saying, and he says can't be, नहीं हो सकता ऐसा. But grumbled means he बड़बड़ाना, बुदबुदाना. He says can't be, but retreated into his chair from her unexpectedly spirited defense. But when he sees that Otima is making a defense, so he retreats. He sits back into his chair, and he was not expecting this. He was not expecting that Otima will be saying anything to him. So he says must be a printing mistake. So again he is retreating, पीछे हट रहा है. कहता है must be a printing mistake, हो सकता है कि छपाई में कोई गलती हो गई हो. There are bulls, buffaloes, bullocks and bulls, but whoever heard of a blue bull? Now he says he is just trying to make her calm, and saying that there are bulls, buffaloes, bullocks, but blue bull, ये तो किसी ने नहीं सुना होगा. Nilgai, do they mean? Now this is the second thought which has struck his mind, and he says Nilgai, do they mean? क्या उनका मतलब है नीलगाय से? But that creature is nearly extinct. So now again he's saying that, and that creature that doesn't exist anymore. How can there be any at the airport? So that animal, that poor animal, is not in existence anymore, and how can there be any at the airport? It's all rot, somebody's fantasy. Rot means it is nonsense. ये सब बकवास है. Somebody's fantasy, somebody's imagination. All right, I'll stop reading if you'd rather. So now Otima is warning him that ठीक है, if you इफ़ यूड रादर, अगर तुम चाहते हो, आई विल स्टॉप रीडिंग, तो मैं नहीं पढ़ूंगी। अगर तुम ऐसे ही अपना कुछ कुछ कहते रहे, बड़बड़ाते रहे, तो मैं नहीं पढ़ने वाली। आई हैव इनफ टू डू इन द किचन, आई हैव इनफ वर्क टू डू इन द किचन, यू नो, शी थ्रेटन्ड हिम, बट ही pressed his lips together. So now Amul pressed his lips together. He shuts his mouth, and with a little stab of his hand, stab is we can say that he waves his hand, beckoned her. Beckoned means uh, to just beckoned is a gesture, a sign to pick up the papers and continue. He is waving his hand, अपने हाथ का इशारा इशारा करता है हाथ से कि तुम अखबार उठाओ और पढ़ती रहो. What pictures are on this week? I wonder, she continued. So when he says that, he makes that gesture. So now Otima again picks up the paper, and she starts reading, and she sees some pictures. uh, what pictures are on this week? She is looking into the newspaper that what movies are coming in this week, partly because that was a subject of consuming interest to her, और ऐसा इसलिए भी because she was having much interest in this kind of things, या फिर he was very much interested in movies or cinema, we can say. That was a subject of consuming interest to her, and partly because she thought it a safe subject to move on to, and also because she thought that it would be right, it would not irritate Amul. Teri Meri Kismat, the heart-warming saga of an unhappy wife. Teri Meri Kismat, a name of a movie, and the heart-warming saga. Heart-warming means heart-touching. Saga is a story of an unhappy wife. No, no, no. Do Dost, winner of 3 Filmfare Awards. Ah, so she doesn't like the first movie and movie's title, and then she reads the other one, that is Do Dost, and which is a winner of 3 Filmfare Awards. Please, please, Otima, the news. So now Mr. Basu reminded her that, Otima, please read the news. Nothing to interest you, she said, but tore herself away from the entertainments column for his sake. And Otima now says, nothing to interest you, कि तुम्हारी किसी चीज में भी रुचि नहीं है, कुछ भी चीज तुम्हें रोचक नहीं लगती. But tore herself away. Tore is the second form, tear, tore, torn. लेकिन उसने अपने आप को अलग कर लिया इस एंटरटेनमेंट के कॉलम से. Then she again goes to the news, and she reads, anti-arthritis drug, not your problem. Betel leaves cause cancer. Betel leaves is पान के पत्ते, जो पान चबाया जाता है. बीटल लीव्स कॉज कैंसर, पान के पत्ते चबाने से कैंसर होता है. So this is another headline. Then she says, I know at least 100 people who chew betel leaves and are as fit. So now on reading this headline, she says that मैं तो कई 100 लोगों को जानती हूँ, या फिर मैं 100 लोगों को, लगभग 100 लोगों को जानती हूँ जो पान चबाते हैं and are as fit, and they are completely healthy. All right, all right. What else? What news are you interested in then? So when Otima is saying that I know 100 people, Amol Basu again says, all right, what else? ठीक है, और क्या खबर है? What news are you interested in then? She flared up. And this time she becomes angry, and in anger she asks Amul, what news are you interested in then? तो किस तरह की न्यूज़ तुम्हें चाहिए? किस न्यूज़ में तुम्हारी रुचि है? But immediately subsided and browsed on. लेकिन immediately तुरंत ही, जितनी जल्दी उसे गुस्सा आया उतनी ही जल्दी she became calm, शांत हो जाती है, and browsed on, और browsed खोजने लगती है खबरें, comfortably scratching the sole of her foot as she did so. And while she is browsing the news, she is scratching the sole of her foot. Floods in Assam, drought in Maharashtra. When is there not? 200 cholera deaths. So these are also the headlines. Floods in Assam, Assam में बाढ़ आ गई. Drought in Maharashtra, महाराष्ट्र में सूखा पड़ गया. When is there not? She says, कब ऐसा नहीं होता? ये तो हमेशा की बातें हैं. 200 cholera deaths. 200 लोग कोलेरा से मर गए. A woman and child have a miraculous escape when their house collapses. एक औरत और बच्चा करिश्माई तरीके से बच गए when their house collapses, जब उनका घर गिर रहा था, जब उनका घर गिर गया. Husband held for murder of wife. This is again the another headline in the newspaper. Husband held for murder of wife. पति को पत्नी की हत्या के लिए गिरफ्तार किया गया. See, she cried excitedly. So on this news, on this headline, she's very excited and says, "See," to Amul, once more, how often does this happen? एक बार फिर. How often does this happen? कितनी बार ऐसा होता रहता है? Husband and mother-in-law have been arrested on charge of pouring kerosene on Kantibai's clothes and setting her on fire while she slept. Husband and mother-in-law, पति और mother-in-law, सास, have been arrested on charge of pouring kerosene on Kantibai's clothes. जब कांतिबाई सो रही थी उस टाइम उसके कपड़ों के ऊपर कैरोसिन इज मिट्टी का तेल छिड़क कर उसे जला दिया गया. Yes, that is how they always do it. Otima says this is how they always do it. Why? Probably the dowry didn't satisfy them. So again, she is thinking about this news, that why they did this, why this happened. They must have hope to get one more. So this is again she's thinking. So that's it for today. Thank you.